Let's just make sure I'm okay. Right, we are live, by the way. I'm just sorting my stuff out. Okay, right. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new series of the Invasions. Now, this series is basically going to be me revisiting people I've already invaded. So the questions are not going to be the same. They're going to be tailored for each person, depending on what they answered in their original invasion. Now, Andy Heel is backstage. He has kindly agreed for him to be my guinea pig. I invaded Andy Heel the 7th of November 2019, so it hasn't been quite a year yet. But I want to make sure that this runs smoothly, so he's agreed. Right, so let's have a look. There he is. Hi, Andy.
Hello.
So we had a chat before this, and I kind of explained to you what I want to do and all that. So you've been kind enough to say, okay, let's do it. Plus, you were the first maker that I invaded, the very first maker.
Well, this is true.
Yeah, I invaded GPS agencies first, and then you were the maker. So we've got quite a few people turned out to have a nosy of what's going on in your life now.
Cool.
So shall we crack on with it?
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
So back in November 2019, when we first did this invasion, you had subscribers, but you were mainly subscribers on YouTube, that is. But you were predominantly on Instagram.
Right, yeah.
So that's switched up now, isn't it? I know you're still on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm still on Instagram, and I still post every couple of days or so, depending on free time and such. With the COVID thing, obviously, more time at home. So more time to do YouTube. So I've been able to do the live shows at lunchtime, and obviously with my live on what used to be Mondays, now on Saturday afternoons. Trying to pump out as much work as possible. Take advantage of the time.
Yeah. I know you spend a hell of a lot of time in that workshop. And I know that because we've been friends for a long time anyway.
Yeah.
And the reason you don't do those lives now is because you just simply don't have the time, do you, to do on that particular. Plus, you got work in the morning.
Well, that's it. With everything, everything's changed. So my work patterns had to change. I've gone from doing the night shift to doing the day shift. Not doing as many shifts, but having to do the childcare and all that kind of stuff. So not as much time as I'd like. And obviously, when the missus gets home, I like to spend a bit of time with her when she gets home from work, and only a little bit, not too much to get used to it. But just.
I think people don't realise, or they may realise, but making videos, there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot that people don't see that happens behind the camera. You're a dad of two. You're married. You've got a full-time job, and you fit all this around when you can cram it into your home life. So, but yeah, well done to you.
Well, thanks, mate. It's not easy, but there's a lot of people that do it, and I do it for the love of doing it.
Yeah, but what you do isn't something that you can do just overnight. This is something that takes a lot of time, of meticulous carving.
Yeah. Certainly, more recently, it has got a bit more labor intensive, shall we say, because I'm honing my craft.
Yeah.
Doing what we all do.
Yeah. Right. So I'd just like to say, guys in the chat, if you've got any questions for Andy, what I'll do is I'll try and do my best to read them out. So start with a question, with writing a question, that is, put question, blah, 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 and I'll do my best. Right. So new inspirations. Is there, have you got more inspirations than you had last time? Anything new that's happened, or anyone new that you've seen that has kind of shaped what you do now?
There's a couple of artists. I can't for the life of me. I should have written them down. Actual artists that I am artists rather than makers. They're artists. Some of their work that I'm starting to take more of an interest in. So my work is developing more towards the arty, carving-y type stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess those guys.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put them in the description for you when you let me know.
Yeah. No worries, man.
Okay. So doing what you do, the carving.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you are hoping? Oh, I like that. Is that a horn?
It's a glass horn, yes.
Cool. So, is there anyone that you're aiming to inspire? Is there a group of people or anyone that you're trying to reach out and say, look, you can do this?
Well, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
It's just having the time and the patience. I'm gonna start doing a few more tutorial-y type things on how to use the tools that I use, the Dremels. That's something that's part of the deal that I have with them, just to show off what the Dremels can do. I'd like to think that I do that anyway with the carving that I do on the lives on Saturday, but to actually have an actual lesson, like this is how you do, this is how you do. That'll be where I'm looking to go at some point in the future. Not quite yet.
Yeah. Okay. So the maker community. Let's talk a bit about the maker community. Now, when we did this first invasion, there was a maker community, but since then it's just exploded, hasn't it? Is there anything you want to say about that? I mean, what people have done for you, what you've done for people, how it's affected what you do now?
Well, there's certain people, certain companies that are really taking an interest in what I'm doing. Certainly loads of folk out there that there's a list as long as my arm of Christine and Michael as the first name that popped up on the chat there, that they've sent me some horn, to buffalo horn to carve. Haven't got around to it yet. Will do, promise. But I've also been given antlers by Keith, and there's wood that I've been given from Keith and the guys from the weekend that you had last weekend.
Yeah.
Dale from Maple Tree Studios gave me a blooming computer, a touch screen computer. Yes, I've got a touch screen in my laptop, which is awesome because, I mean, for me, that's just perfect. I can job done. I don't have to, if my hands are covered in whatever, it makes the difference because I've got a touch screen.
Yeah. Show off.
Yeah. But that opens up various options like OBS, for example, something that I'm hoping to learn how to use. So I got the option of like messing around with the cameras, different angles, opens up a whole different ball game for recording rather than just recording on my phone, which is predominantly what I do.
Yeah.
Occasionally downloading a live, editing that up, but the picture quality degrades downloading it from the internet, so you never get quality of picture really.
Yeah. Well, you've got quite a lot of people turn out to see you now. Anyway, we've got a couple of questions. I think I've just seen one from Glyn Senior.
Yeah.
His question, Andy, how's Mannequin Skywalker?
Well, Rich and I still have to pick up the piece of wood from school. So I'm hopefully going to be properly getting that sorted. When I get back to work next week, I'll be able to maneuver and then give Rich a shot.
This is the great big piece that... Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Don't know if you want me to explain.
Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, that is basically going to be a 6.5 foot stormtrooper carved purely for my benefit because I want him to stand outside my front door.
Nice.
But I mean, yeah, I'm going to film that, obviously.
Definitely. So, but it's going to be slightly easier this time when now. Back then, you didn't have the tools you had now. I mean, you've got what those discs that you use that rip the
Arbitech discs.
Arbitech, yeah.
I'm hoping to get some more different shaped ones.
Yeah.
There's a plane that I want to get for that. But they're all stuff that I've bought myself. Except the Arbitech blade. Actually,
yeah.
that was given to me by Simon from SW Creations on Instagram.
Oh, okay, cool.
Please send me that.
Ian says, "Will you be recording that?" Yeah, you will be recording that, Ian.
100%.
Okay, so one question that we all are thinking: the Viking influences. Where does that come from? Because a lot of you do. I mean, we only got to look behind you, and you've got a battle axe, and you've got some armor. I know you've got one of those swords from Star Wars or whatever it is, Star Trek. But where does where does the Viking influence come from?
I
put you on the spot now, haven't I?
Well, no, not really. The interest was kind of sparked when Vikings, the TV series, started. The first episode of that, I watched that and was hooked that very day. So it kind of inspired from that, maybe. But then having investigated it further and then having my DNA like tested and all that kind of stuff and finding out that I'm like pretty much Viking, just kind of like, well, okay, we'll stick with that. Thank you very much. Okay. So yeah,
cool.
It's kind of cool.
It is cool, very cool. I love it.
Yeah.
So don't forget, guys, the guys in the chat, if you want to ask Andy a question, direct, put question before your question. So let's talk about sponsors, because way back then, things have changed slightly for you.
Yeah, just a bit.
Okay. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your sponsors, who they are? And
okay, so firstly and foremost, it has to be GPS. I think back then I possibly was.
You had just joined them.
Yeah, literally just. So yeah, still supported by GPS. Still going great guns. Haven't done so much because of the COVID thing. Haven't been able to go and get stock, etc. like that. So as soon as I can, I'll go and get some more stock and then carry on with that. Now sponsored by Dremel, which is awesome. They very kindly given me a number of tools, and the carving bits, any advice that I could possibly need on anything related to Dremel, obviously. I just have to give my man a shout, and he's all over it. So yeah, it's cool. And recently, Yorkshire Grit, supported by Yorkshire Grit, for my carvings, the wood carvings, and even for the GPS stuff. And Dremel have supplied me a buffing tool, so it's going to be even easier.
Brilliant. You have to let us know.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to do a review of that anyway, so that'll be up on the tubes.
Yeah. So a question I asked you back then, where do you think your channel would be in 12 months' time? I know it's not quite 12 months, but I mean, is it kind of going to plan?
No, not really. It's a little bit slower than I thought. I was kind of hoping for some miraculous rise to maybe at least sort of like about 1,000, but it's a little bit slower. Not complaining. Just one of those things. Haven't hit the right audience. Things like that. Just one of those things. You just have to keep plugging away, and then one day it'll get there.
I think if anyone in the chat that is new to YouTube, it is a hard slog. I mean, if you can get a video out there in the very beginning and it just goes viral and boom, 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 you suddenly you're up to 20,000 subscribers. It doesn't always happen that way. You have got to plug it. You've got to work at it. You know what I mean? And you've been doing that. So,
well, as I say, these things take time. What can you say? I can't.
No.
Oh well.
No. Just crack it. Just carry on. You'll get there in the end.
I'll put something out and everyone will go, "Oh my gosh!" Probably be the Stormtrooper, to be honest.
There has been a few of your videos where I've just gone, "That is insane." I mean, if I was like 15, I would say that was sick. Yeah. If that's in the right city, I mean, not physically sick, but like the Scorpions, and that was just unbelievable, epic.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, so you're in the same space, same workshop as you were back then. I think when I invaded you, we just moved in like a week before. Yeah. Because we were going to do your invasion at your old place, and it was like, hang on, we've got to wait a week. Yeah. To move. So has there been any changes? I mean, any changes in your maker space?
Yeah, it's slowly getting to how I would say I'm comfortable. There's a couple of things I wanted to do. I want to do right now, but obviously I'm not going to do right now. Just where you guys are, where the computer is right now, I'd rather that be up against the wall behind me. So I'll have to think of like a backdrop and all that kind of stuff for when I do lives. But I mean, I don't need to worry about that now. But the security of I want to put the touch screen up where the laptop is now.
Yeah.
And I prefer that to be against the wall rather than hanging there in midair.
Yeah. It's safer.
A little bit safer.
So your favorite tool back then was a high Koki screwdriver. Has that changed?
Yeah. Big time. Okay, so can I have two?
Of course you can. Yeah.
They're both Dremels. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
The Dremel Fortiflex, which is absolutely awesome. Foot pedal control, like speed control. Second you take your foot off, stops dead. Absolutely perfect. It's got all the grunt that you need. Haven't got any complaints about that whatsoever. None.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm supported with them. If I had enough money, now if I had enough money and I wasn't supported by them, I want that machine. I would go and buy that machine. I trust it enough to say and put my money where my mouth is. It's the best machine that you can get for the price. Definitely. And the other one I've only received a couple of weeks ago from Dremel, which is the 8220. It's the cordless carving thingy.
Are they very heavy with the battery on them?
A little bit, I guess, but I mean, it's weighted okay. Like it's not too bad. Well, I don't think it's too bad. It's got a decent battery life. I mean,
how about the Flex? Does the Flex fit onto that as well?
Yeah, you can attach the Flex to it. So,
oh right, there you go.
Happy days. So yeah, you could work it off the Flex. It's got speed control up the side, all that kind of stuff. Battery indicator. It does come with a little light, so if you're carving at night time,
like you often do.
Yeah, but then I would just switch my workshop lights on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's cool. It's a cool machine. So yeah, those two.
Brilliant. We have a couple of comments in the chat. Right, let's have a look. Ian in the shed says he has a feeling that the 6 foot tall stormtrooper will be a hit. Doug from the pole barn, the seahorse was epic. The blue shark was epic.
Cool.
That was from Baz, Real Simple Things. Rob CP, I loved the Bruce Lee, Andy.
Oh, really? I thought it was awful, but thanks, mate.
So, guys, if you're in the chat, you want a question, you want to shout a question at Andy, we'll read them out in a sec. So, nearly there.
Cool,
shout outs. Is there any shout outs that you want to?
Yeah, right. Let me find them on Instagram.
While you're doing that, I'll give mine because I will be giving a shout out too. My shout out goes to Colin. Where are you, Colin? Let's have a look. I'm going to put him on the screen at the bottom. There we go. Right. Colin Roberts. Now, Colin has just started YouTube. He's got 5 subscribers. He's going to be bringing his very first video out soon when he's figured out what he's doing with his camera. So, guys, everybody, head over, check out Colin Roberts. Give him some support, will you? Because he's going to need it. Right. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, no worries. This is an Instagram chappy. His name's Andrew Thomas _visionary artist.
Right.
The guy's work's absolutely stunning. You want to see fancy art, that's the place to go.
Okay.
Well photographed, well constructed. From somebody who's been at art college, that's somebody who was up there, you would go, yeah, I want to be like them.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He's producing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, impressive. Very impressive.
Okay.
So him, yeah.
Anyone else?
Anyone from? No, that'll do.
Okay, cool. Ian in the shed has got a question for you. What got you into carving?
I like doing 3D stuff. I'm not a painter. I don't do painting. I don't really do drawing unless it's trying to get a 3D thing out of my head. So 3D work has always been my thing as a artist. The carving thing, I guess, since I was a teenager, you carve little knives and things like that, and you carve little figures. Well, I did carve little figures. What really started it, I guess, was GPS being supported by them to carve. So you are kind of, okay, let's go in that direction. And I think that was the right direction for me to take. To be honest with you, that seems to be where my thing is with the carving. So yeah, I guess GPS give me the gentle, because I was kind of bouncing around doing all sorts of stuff, making stuff, and it's nice to have an actual focus rather than what should I do this week? I know I'll make I don't know, Viking shield. Well, I can carve that now. That's a little bit more interesting than making a historically accurate, what it is to me anyway.
I think the GPS, it's good stuff. The Keranite, the polyester, it's all good stuff, and giving you and a couple of us like myself the opportunity to use their stuff for free without paying for it. It does influence a lot of what you do, doesn't it? It does with me.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've got the advantage of work being able to have access to however much wood I want.
Yeah.
I can go to work. Example, I'm going to work and getting a 6-foot chunk of a tree.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. I've seen it.
They were like, they basically said, "Yeah, please take it."
Yeah.
So, happy days. Fine.
Cool. So, if you can, we've got a couple of people asking for you to put a link, or for me to put a link in the description to your shout out. So if you can send me that later, I'll chuck that in.
Yep.
So guys, any more questions before we finish up? I know, where are we? Mark the Gentleman Wood Turner, he'll be going live after us. Okay, nothing.
Ruben's just asked a question there, mate. If you could only carve one medium from now on, what would that be? Resin, wood, or metal?
Go for it, because it ain't come on my screen yet. Oh, there you go. Oh no, it hasn't.
The thing with carving, it would be wood, but that was only because resin, I'm limited on size. I would carve resin all day long if I could have a chunk of resin, like a proper chunk of resin, rather than the small carving blocks. Now, I understand that GPS wouldn't be able to provide me with that. So, on the basis that I like the big carving, it would be wood.
Okay. We have another question here from Rob CP. What piece are you most proud of? Let's put that on screen. It's a hard one.
Question.
Yeah, hard one.
The hammerhead shark, the big one.
Brilliant. I love that. That's my favourite piece that you've done.
Yeah.
Although I am really scared of sharks. That is just really nice.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Jappy. How does the carving test your patience?
No, I've got to be. No, Andy, don't say that. Right.
Please don't swear.
No, I wasn't going to swear. Not as much as what you would think. Sometimes it does. Depend if I'm enjoying the carving, not a problem. I'll sit there all day long. If it's something that I'm not happy with, I get frustrated with it, and it's obvious if you're watching it that I'm not enjoying it, because I will just really beat it around and make it do what I want rather than.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that with that spalted stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even tried turning it, and it's just terrible. How you've managed to do the things like the 2 fingers out of that stuff.
Well, yeah, but then you say that, but then that's out of the same stuff.
Yeah. Gorgeous that is.
So, like, you can still do the detail, you just have to be so careful. And that, yeah, I guess that's where the patience thing comes in.
So, Jake, a copper and carving by Jake, he said, I think you'd be great at chainsaw carving. Have you ever done it? And have you considered it? If not, have you considered it?
I've considered it, but you've got my chainsaw trousers, Jake.
He's got his own now, so he can hand them back to you.
Yeah, when I get them back, then I might go. Then I might. No, I'm only messing, mate. Yes, but I will probably use the chainsaw for roughing out the Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
But it won't be like carving a eagle type chainsaw carving. I'm not. I don't like chainsaws at the best of times. So.
Oh no. I think that's it, Andy. Well, thanks for being my guinea pig. I've learned a lot from this particular revisit. There's a couple of things I'm going to change. But yeah, that's it. Done. You survived yet another invasion.
I've been invaded twice.
Yeah. So thanks to everybody that's in the chat. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. If you've not seen Andy before, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Cheers, Andy.
No worries, man. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.